Welcome back to the most diabolical series on the internet. In today's video, Ethan has just exposed a ton of info about Anissa and Anissa's husband. Basically, IDubbbz's boxing trainer Mike says that Anissa was basically cheating on Ian by having a crush on one of Ian's boxing opponents. Apparently, she was also bragging about being a gold digger and a whole bunch of lore. Hassan has responded to the flag clip where he glazes yet another Alrighty, subscribe to achieve all of your dreams, and let's begin. Basically, Ethan was doing a call with IDubbbz's former boxing coach, and IDubbbz knew that he had some serious dirt on him, so he started panicking. IDubbbz panic texted his former coach before he called into the H3 Expo show today. Hey Michael, not sure if this is clickbait or not, but saw your face on H3 podcast thumbnail. Let me know if it's real and if you want to talk. I'm hoping it's just some clickbait because I'd be happy to talk if you had some unresolved feelings about Anissa. Lamau Anissa used IDubbbz's phone to text him. Unresolved feelings. This guy snorts pure estrogen for sure. Alrighty, let's start with the clips. Mike, IDubbbz's former coach, reveals that Ian and Anissa flew out a bunch of influencers and paid for an entire hotel for 300 plus of them, plus parties during Creator Clash 2.
He and Anissa did in fact pay for Hassan and all of his compadres to travel to and stay at Creator Clash 2.
They were talking about that long before, about how they had to fly in all these people. First of all, they rented the hotel for over 300 creators and flew a lot of them in. When the first year it was much more scaled back. We just had a couple floors of like some place, like a nice suite place, but it wasn't extravagant at all. And then the second year they did that full hotel for 300 creators. They flew a lot of people in. One of the people they flew in was Froggy Tonic, and they flew him in from France.
That's insane.
They rented out the whole hotel for 300 creators, and when we asked them if Ian's dad was going to be there, because he was there for the first event, they said they couldn't afford to fly Ian's dad in. It was too expensive.
Yeah. I know. Ian and Anissa brought out his whole crew from France.
His whole crew?
Charity event, by the way, guys. I just flew out an entire flipping concert of people to an event, you know? I used the money for kids with cancer for parties with my friends. I really wonder what happens if you would add up all the flight tickets and the hotels, how much money would actually go to charity, because I feel like it would be a lot. And I was wondering, how does an event with big creators fail so hard? How do you lose $250,000? I mean, I could literally put a donation link in the description, raise $1, and it would be more effective than IDubbbz and Anissa's entire event. That's how incompetent it was. Also, IDubbbz flew out everybody except his own dad. Bro has money for 300 of Hassan's cronies, but not his own family. What's gonna be their excuse now? Ian and Anissa right now. Oh, this is a good one. I need to add it to my SpongeBob collection. Hassan over your own dad. Christ. Anyways, it continues. Apparently the story involves Pokimane. Mike leaks that Anissa was adamant about having certain people at the event like Pokimane.
Because she would always talk about a certain group of people. It was like somebody named Pokimane and all these other people. And she would always talk about how she wants like them to be there and she wants to be a part of their group.
Knowing that detail, it breaks my heart that she had to settle for denims.
Yeah. I don't even know these people, but yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the only people I really know in the YouTube world is you guys, because you guys were so nice to us. Like, we got more clout from being on your show than we ever did from working with Ian, because he would never show any of the work we did. He would never. Yeah, and then everybody else, it drove me crazy. Like, AB would shout out his coach, Wale.
Wow, dude, IDubbbz is such a greedy piece of trash, refusing to share even a smidgen of clout for somebody literally helping him out a ton. Bro, I just don't get this mindset. It really seems like they're the most selfish, narcissistic people ever. And I'm so glad that Mike has come out talking about this, because it really connects the dots about what kind of person IDubbbz actually is. And of course they wanted Pokimane in, bro. She would fit right in there. Literally the most fake, pandering person ever. It was never about charity. It was always a ploy for Anissa to establish industry connections in the streamer world. She wanted to be part of the Poggers community so bad. It makes sense. She's a washed up streamer that's only known for being Ian's wife and being an influencing factor for a career's end. When you're 500k down 2 weeks before your event, if you're a broke boy, just say so. We'll get to this part. Now Mike talks about why he got fired.
Because then we went back to the hotel and then they were eating at Denny's and they said, we need to have a meeting. So I have to go to Denny's. And they pretty much then talked about how they were going to have to fire me because I reminded Ian of his father when his father would yell at him as a kid.
Bro got fired for reminding him of his dad. I mean, is anybody shocked that Ian has daddy issues, bro? Like, you would think Anissa has the daddy issues, right? And I'm sure she does. But Ian is so emasculated that it kind of makes sense. Also, again, just being fair, we're only hearing their side of the story here. Based on all the other information I know about IDubbbz, I'm inclined to believe it. But of course, if they come out disputing any of the stuff, that's fair enough. But I highly doubt they actually will. In fact, if you remember, IDubbbz's response to taking 34% from charity was that he allocated it to himself so that he could personally later give it to charity, which literally makes negative sense. Mike reveals that Anissa talks shit about Ethan and Hila during Creator Clash 1, leaks story about Ian stinking up the room, also questions Anissa's commitment to her religion. Oh yeah, she's Muslim, guys.
He stunk up the gym so bad you had to move him away from people.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Hold on. Let me just sit with that.
0.5 hotter, as if like his breath didn't stink all the time.
Yeah.
Another question. I heard that Anissa was talking shit about me and us even before Creator Clash 1.
She had said that she didn't like associating with you guys for some reason, but then like you had been doing better or something, so they were happy to go on your show. But yeah, she definitely had mentioned like something about you and Hila, and like, or maybe it was just you, but somebody had done something that had offended her at one point.
I'm
so
sure.
She thought, yeah, so she felt like you guys weren't like good people or something. But then once you could do their show, but she loved AB and Lena. She always loved them because she would be like, they're Muslim and I'm Muslim.
Yeah,
and I was like, everything you do is haram. Like nothing you do is. I have Muslim fighters.
Yes.
They pray 5 times a day. They don't
touch women.
Like
besides your wife.
They're a couple of them are from Dagestan, right? And in Dagestan, you're not allowed to shake a woman's hand. Like, but they put their hand on. They're very respectful, right?
Ah, yes, Anissa, the devout Muslim, literally goes against every practice ever. Literally made a video saying why I left Islam. Literally said that telling her dad she wasn't religious was the hardest thing she ever had to do. Literally makes an OnlyFans posting lewd pictures. She found out she's like 8% Arab because of some random online test, and then she went with it, bro. You can't be serious. Also, didn't her husband tear up the holy book? Dude, you'd be like executed in some places for that shit. Mark my words, that woman is going to ruin his life, Sam Hyde. God, how bad does he smell? At first it sounded like he just had some body odor, but now it's like he's some kind of insane homeless person. Is it because he shits himself? I'm watching it right now. There's a brutal destruction of their fake social media characters and actually revealing their private true beings. I thought calling him a cuck was a joke, but I'm starting to think that he actually enjoys domination and humiliation by her. Anyways, now Harley joins in, and he has the same background as Keemstar. Mike alleges that Ian and Anissa were negative 500k weeks before Creator Clash 2. They would still spend money on the after-party award show.
To dress nicely for the gala, that there would be pictures and such.
We found out it was a red carpet event that they flew Getty Images in for. So they straight up flew Getty Images to take pictures for the event. Say when we asked them about it, and I said, hey, is there a gala? And they said, oh, you guys, don't even worry about it. You don't have to go to that. And I said, what? This is what Anissa said. And I said, what? And I said, well, some of the sparring partners got invited. And she said, I don't know how they got on that list. They weren't supposed to be on the list. And in my mind, I'm like, Ian had invited them. He sent them the email personally.
What
right?
a disgusting human being she seems to be. I'm sorry.
Oh, she didn't want any of us there. She only wanted like creators there or people that would, I guess, make her feel like she could get more clout.
Of course, you're only invited to the gala if you're on the approved Ian and Anissa list, right? You must either support terrorists or be a fake piece of shit. If you're actually a good person or someone trying to help, you're just not invited. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like you should have a ton of respect for, you know, your boxing coach, you know, someone taking the time to help you train and, you know, sort of risking their reputation for you publicly as well. I'm actually shocked. Like, I knew they were bad, but this is just lacking basic human decency.
So she told us we didn't have to come to the event. She doesn't know why we would want to be at the event. And I said, what's the event for? Yeah. And she said, and it's an award show. And I said, what are the awards for? And she said, they're awards for the boxing. And I said, why wouldn't his coach want to be there? Why wouldn't his team want to be there? I was like, that makes no sense. So everybody else, all the other coaches I talked to, I said, hey, did you guys know about the gala? They said, yeah. I said, did you bring a suit for it? And all of them had freaking like 3-piece suits with like kerchiefs and everything. I had sweatpants. I'm like, what the
dude, that's so messed up. Why? It's like you're the guy connected with the event organizers, and they're explicitly excluding you guys.
It's because we're both very professional, we're both very direct and very transparent. If they told us that they were going to throw a huge gala after the fight and it was going to cost a ton of money, we would have asked them, why are you doing this?
They were negative 500K before the event.
Dude, I just call it quits at that point, you know? Use some of that party money to pay for their charity at least. Have a somewhat clear conscience. Bro, I don't know if I was raised differently, but I feel like anyone would feel horrible if they like snubbed a charity like that. Bro, I feel bad over the tiniest shit. Like, dude, I buy chicken and rice at a certain food stall very often, right? And like the auntie there knows me and she gives me like a larger portion because I'm a regular. And she essentially just always wants to give me like a discount. And I just have to reject it every time because I'm like, damn, you're way too sweet. You're helping me out so much, you know, giving me this delicious food like every few days or whatever. And I always end up tipping a little bit more because I feel like good people with good hearts should be rewarded. And I don't know, man, it's crazy to think people like IDubbbz and Anissa exist, just like straight personifications of evil, you know?
Unless you have a big following, she's not going to give you a shout out. She'll just suck the blood out of you and go away.
Yeah.
So you think Anissa's the one calling the shots, though?
Oh, 100%.
I do, but it is also Ian that allows it to happen.
He enjoys it. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Ian.
What
Yes.
is happening with them?
Yes, he enjoys it. We used to feel sorry for him.
I did.
Yeah, we
All
both
the
did.
time.
We both did. Michael felt sorry for him up until CC2. After CC1, I cut that shit off because I was like, you know what? She's a fucking liar and he's a liar. And he enjoys all the punishment that she gives him.
Yeah.
So let it be.
Dude, it's actually confirmed. IDubbbz is an Omega level puck. Bro, you can't make cinema this good. She actually likes dominating him and he loves watching. Now they talk about how IDubbbz wasn't even putting in effort for the boxing.
They were negative 500K before the event. So the reason we found this out was because I wanted Ian to start doing 2 training sessions a day. And I said, Ian, you need to start doing 2 a days. And he was like, why should I do 2 a days? And I told him, I was like, Ian, you're not good at boxing, man. My brand is at stake. So you need to do 2 a days. That's what pro boxers do. And then I told him, I said, my brand is on the line. I said, you can go back to YouTube. My whole life is fighting and coaching fighters. And I'm like, so if you don't have a good performance, that's going to look bad on me. After the first event, for the first event, he didn't do any of his cardio. So that's why I ended up gassing out so bad.
I mean, of course, IDubbbz wouldn't care about someone else's reputation. He obviously only cares about himself. I think you owe it to your trainer to do your absolute best, especially for a big spectacle like this. Obviously, nobody expects you to win, but just attend the training sessions, give it your all, so it doesn't look like he's a shit trainer or something, you know? I think I know the problem. I think IDubbbz was only 31 at this time. He obviously unlocked empathy at 32, guys, remember? Now, apparently, Anissa was ordering Ian around like a dog.
And afterwards, everybody's hanging out. And she walks up to Ian and she goes, you're hungry.
Yes.
And then so they had to leave because Ian was hungry. So she tells Ian when he was hungry. We're like, what the hell?
Dude, what is this? Dude, IDubbbz is like, what do you call Rick? Rick from Game of Thrones. You know the guy who got tortured so bad he like lost any semblance of his humanity and like literally just forgot everything about himself and is just like a hollow husk of himself? Yeah, that's basically IDubbbz. He also got his pee-pee cut off, which I guess figuratively happened to IDubbbz here. Anyways, Anissa somehow made it about herself, said that her brand was at stake.
Well, he went and told Anissa that I told him my brand was at stake. So the next day she comes into the gym super mad and she's like, our brand is at stake. We're $500,000 in the hole right now. And we're like,
I wish I knew that. I wish I knew that at that time. I think a lot of the fighters would have liked to have known that.
They were spending the money from the ticket sales on the hotel, on flying people in, on all these other things. So it was just like,
so those decisions, the gala decisions, were made while in the red.
And then he says, we lost money, but I don't regret throwing the after party.
Dude, throwing parties when you're 500K in the red and not even regretting it, that is insane. And Anissa making it all about herself is the least surprising thing. But now we get to the juicy part. Apparently, Anissa was cheating on Ian. She was like crushing on another guy.
She was hitting on one of his sparring partners and was obsessed with him and gave him a VIP pass to the event.
a lot of his sparring partners got the passes, but she definitely had a big crush on one of the guys that would come in and spar with them, because anytime they would spar, she would just be super into it and watch every moment. And then even if he would like beat Ian up, she'd be very into it. And then
I want to think that like Yeah, I want to say that before. So Anissa never gave shout outs to Michael training Ian at all, but she put out the first video of Ian like getting hit, rocked in sparring when Ian was sparring with her crush. Yeah.
It was our friend Gabe.
She shared it. Yeah, and we have a clip too. You guys can share.
I would call him Gorgeous Gabe.
There's no shot, bro. She was crushing on another guy who was actively beating up Ian, like punching his face in. Dude, I told you guys, he's the ultimate puck. He loves watching. He loves watching from the puck chair. And once again, I'm just saying, if something comes out involving Hassan and Anissa, I'm just saying I called it. I want every person to come back to this channel and tell me that I called it if that ever gets leaked. But anyways, to be fair, this is he said, she said, so we don't know 100% unless some more proof comes out, but it's funny to think about. Anyways, we got even more lore. Apparently, Anissa is also a gold digger. Anissa allegedly had a pact with her mom to marry somebody rich and of the same religion.
Because you've already exposed her for being like the first person that Ian's ever been with, right?
Yes.
So in my opinion, what happened was she even told us, she used to always tell her mom, I'm going to be with a millionaire. And so we think that once she
used
kind
to
of got
tell her mom that she would be with a millionaire? How do you know
her
that?
mom told her that it had to be someone rich.
How did you know that?
Well, she told us.
She would tell us that.
It was, I remember exactly. It was when we were in Vegas going to the other podcast, and we were inside the Uber, and we were with Ian and Anissa. And Anissa said that like her mom only had two expectations for her to marry someone that was rich and also to be of her religion, right? And so she said that Anissa goes, well, I mean, I didn't get someone that was of my religion, but at least I got one part of it right. He's rich. And then she like laughed about it, and then he was in the car, and you could tell he was bothered by it.
I was bothered.
Who wouldn't be bothered by that?
Dude, if your girl tells you she literally married you just for money, that is not a good relationship. She just admitted she's a gold digger. She doesn't even care about your personality, your values, or you as a person. She was using you as a checkbox. Like, oh, I need to marry a millionaire. I guess IDubbbz will do. I mean, heck, he even lets me bang other dudes while he watches on the puck chair. What a deal. We got the 2-for-1 special. Then we have this crazy story about Kate here. Kate shares her tragic story about being a bride and how Ian and Anissa ignored her when she asked them to help and then came back later when they needed help from her.
I'm a child bride survivor, and at the age of 12, I was put into a child marriage from the time I was 12 until 23. Within my child marriage, I had 2 kids when I was 15 and 17. And this happened in America. Okay, and Ian and Anissa are well aware of my story because I've had them in my home. They've seen my kids and everything. I gave my public testimony to support the bill, and I was on Seattle Times and television and everything. And I reached out to Ian and Anissa, and I asked them if they could help, share the information, because it was really important to me that this bill pass. And they just both left me on red. But guess what? Today, when they saw the highlights on Ian's story that we were going to be on here, Anissa was texting me and Michael, and they were like,
they ignored us when we were like trying to fight child marriage. But then when they found out,
are they pro child marriage?
They take a hard stance.
It makes one. Begs the question.
Dude, this is some evil shit, man. Now I'm starting to understand where IDubbbz got his empathy from. When you're married to someone as evil as Anissa, I mean, this is the result, man. What an absolutely horrid person she is. Can you imagine getting left on red for something like that, and then later they have the audacity to message you on top of that, like ignoring your previous message about wanting help about this really pressing issue? My bad, didn't see that, but now I need your help. Just don't expose me on Ethan's stream, guys. No clout to be gained, that's why. Anyways, after this, Ethan actually donated 5K to them as compensation because IDubbbz is obviously too cheap to pay them. It's the same amount that I was supposed to receive as bonus from Ian and Anissa, but never got. It's not right that he stiffed you guys. I mean, this is a great move by him. Now, apparently, it still gets worse. Anissa was getting her fake boobs removed during Ian's training arcs, preventing him from training as much.
Before he was supposed to start training for his fight camp, right? But then they didn't come and train, and then she decided that she was going to have her tits removed, like during his fight camp.
Oh, that was the second one. That was
I said CC.
What? Why? I guess. What was she saying, that it was uncomfortable or something?
I mean, it probably hurt her back.
I mean,
what are you doing?
She told me that.
I do that in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, she always blames it on everybody. She blames it on her doctor. She told me personally that she wasn't too sure about it, and then her doctor told her to go too big, and now she's not happy. and she's gonna get it taken out. But it's like out of all the times that you could have done it after CC1,
So you're saying
yeah.
you're saying she did it during training camp?
Yes.
Dude, Anissa's got to be like this mini devil sent by some evil force to just ruin Ian's life in any way possible, bro. Wasn't there a story where IDubbbz missed one of his like best friend's wedding, like Max Mofo's wedding, because Anissa wanted to get like tattoos? It's actually done, bro. Their reputation is never coming back after this.
We actually had asked Ian if he could help us open the gym, not even financially, because at the time we were okay. So we were like, hey, could you just help us out by like signing as a guarantor? And he had told us in no world could he ever help us.
He said that?
Yes.
Literally.
He said it like in a mean way?
In no world. He said, in no world could I help you.
Why would he respond like that?
Yeah, but instead they responded with, in no world would we or would we like help you guys.
Why so mean? Why were they so mean?
And I believe that was Anissa texting, not Ian, because those are her words. She always uses the words in no world. That's her favorite word.
In no world will Anissa's reputation ever be restored. In no world. You know, nobody's forcing you to help anyone, but at least don't be rude about it, right? I've been asked by a lot of people for help, but like, you can't always help everybody, of course, you know, I do get that, but you at least do them the decency of being respectful, being kind and courteous. Like, you only respond like this if you're a massive dickhead. Now, Ethan also responded to IDubbbz's latest video on concern trolling.
He made a video concern trolling me, and then he put out a video talking about how he hates concern trolling. It's actually mind-blowing. I knew that people weren't going to stick around for him, like, because I know the audience he's courting, which is like these snarkers, right? They'll come for the bullshit and the hate, but they don't even like you to begin with. They're not going to watch your dumb content. This dude, Cameron F305, who made the content cop parody about Ian, and he got more views than Ian's new video. And this dude has, well, he has 51,000 subs now, which is really cool, but he had like 3,000 or something when he started.
Dude, this is the greatest fall off of all time. I remember people were gloating like, oh my god, IDubbbz got 7 million views, guys. He's so relevant. And I told you guys, you can go back to my video there. I said they were hate viewers, and this doesn't actually mean that he's that popular. You can just look at the dislike ratio or the comments and see that people were obviously not watching for IDubbbz. And what do you know? I was right again. Give me a fucking medal. Thank you. Anyways, moving on to Hassan. He has responded to the flag clip of him supporting terrorists.
Overall, what my favorite flag? Yeah. Hezbollah. Look it up.
How does Hezbollah treat the LGBT plus community? Hassan Nasrallah, head of Hezbollah, those who commit this act, even if they do it once, are to be killed.
Look it up. Oh. I'm not even kidding. It's actually...
Even Will is like, oh no. Oh no.
Oh,
he's doing...
Even Will. Man, don't you fucking dare bring up Will Neff in this conversation. Oh, I can't even watch this. Oh my god, even Will. Wait, my haters are now in the fucking Patreon giving me money? Oh my lord. Brother, make your haters your waiters at the table of success. Eric Adams, Hassan Piker.
Yeah, just did not address supporting Hezbollah at all. Great response, man.
Welcome to the Kick Family. As we go, shit has signed with butt.
Bro, are you okay? That was like the worst joke ever told. What the heck? You use like all your life force to force out that laugh, bro. My god. Genuinely feel horrible for Will. That makes zero sense. He's bragging about being a lol cow. Ah, yes, solid commentary. So many scoffing noises.
Okay, look, here's the thing, right? If I said that my favorite flag was the Confederate flag, or like, and I'm not even gonna bring into the Nazi flag, right? People would be losing their fucking minds. We would never fucking be in this place if you just don't support terrorists. Holy shit! Oh my god. It shouldn't be that hard. Really? It shouldn't have been that fucking hard.
It's actually very hard. 99.99% impossible. Now click this video or Anissa Jomha is your kid's kindergarten teacher. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.